You'll always be given what you can manage. Let me give you a typical example of what I mean by this, something more relatable. So, back in high school, there was this girl, the hottest girl in the whole school. And I had a crush on her, a very big crush at that. She was colored. You know, if you went to high school with me, you probably know exactly who I'm talking about. It took a couple of years for me to garner her attention because I wasn't this good looking back in high school. It developed with time. And so my confidence was also delayed as a result of it. But eventually, I grabbed her attention through using a relationship, a good relationship, a friendship that I had with her friend who was from back Kokasi, where I come from. She introduced us, then she coincidentally had a liking to me too. So we started hanging out. She was a nice girl and everything, but things didn't work out in the way that I'd actually planned for them to work out. Ntwana �W𝐿𝐿 younger than me, came in and shapaka before much happened between Nali the girl. So at that particular point in time, I couldn't manage the value that was in front of me, or at least the value that I assumed I deserved at the time. But what's more significant and what's more important is that God had given her this beauty, this grace, this angelicness, but she couldn't capitalize and use it accordingly. What do I mean by that? It just so happened that a couple of years later, I was now working, life was now good. We actually met. And she was working in a cubicle at a mall selling vapes. Is it vapes or vapors? That thing that you can smoke. And when I saw her, I'm walking here with my beautiful wife. Then I see her at this cubicle. And I wasn't even shy now to go and say hi, find out how life is and everything else. And I got to find out about some of the challenges that came about, and some of them included being played by boys, particularly at tertiary level, being played to an extent that she lost direction. And from an education and development point of view, things didn't go her way. So God bestowed her this beauty, but she didn't capitalize it and use it in a way that would favor her in the future. And I don't mean using it in a means of slaying and chowing people, guys, money and things like that. I mean it in the sense of not managing to say no to the guys that were playing her, not managing to run away from things that wouldn't benefit her in the future. So, unfortunately for her, she couldn't manage the beauty that was bestowed upon her. When I saw her, she was still beautiful, but unfortunately, life wasn't where she thought at that particular age life would be. So, what is it that God has blessed you with that you are not recognizing and using optimally and using to the best of your advantage, so that you don't come back and say, God, why did you give me this to begin with? So that you don't come back and say this is actually a detriment. What are you doing with the grace of God's blessings and His mercy upon your life so that you are managing your life accordingly? We see a lot of this. Another example is I blew it. People are never ready for that amount of money. They're never ready for that amount of opportunity. They don't know how to handle money, how to manage money. They don't know how to plan around money. They don't know how to invest. They don't know how to have the right circles around them. And they get swallowed by the power of having that vast amount of money. So, on your side, what is it? Try and recognize, do an introspection, and try find out what is it that you have been blessed with that you aren't managing well. Because unfortunately, if you are given it, then it means you weren't given it to benefit from it if you're not managing it well. So God will always give you what you can manage. Just open your eyes. Try and figure out, how will I capitalize on what God has given me? How will I make the most of what I already have? I love you and I appreciate you. Manage your life. It starts with you. Cheers.